Howdy, howdy. You're
Ooh.
muted. There you go.
Here I am.
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Todd, you not talking?
Check 1, 2, 3.
There we go.
There he is.
Check 1, 1, 2. And there's Stefanie.
Yeah, she's muted. You got to unmute yourself, Stefanie. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, now we can hear you. All right.
Stefanie is in Germany, in Europe somewhere. So
Wow.
You might see a little lag here and there. We'll just be patient.
Just have to be patient and go with it. Yep.
How much time we got, Kim?
We got just about 3 minutes to go.
Oh, heck, we could say a lot of things in 3 minutes.
Is it okay if I talk like that, or should I put headphones on?
Oh, you're fine that way.
Okay.
I don't think Jackie has speakers yet. So
I don't have what yet?
speakers.
What do you mean?
You have your headphones on.
Oh, I do have speakers, but I just want to filter out some of the outside noise.
Oh, got it.
All right. Well, let's get this.
Jackie's in her brand new studio.
Nice.
Yeah.
This is the first time being broadcast from her office.
Woohoo!
Oh, nice.
You might have to take us on a tour. Are you tourable? We might want to.
I could be.
Well,
We
don't
might
have
want to
time
see
now.
the
Don't
last
have time now. We got to go.
Yeah.
No. During the show.
Means during the show.
All right. Stand by.
TYNA. It's a completely unique and different product, so be sure to check out the webinar now.
Did you know that you can rate our shows on iTunes? Yep, you can share your thoughts about the topics, the hosts, and the special guests. You can also leave a suggestion. Then, when you're done, rate the show. The hosts love your feedback, and others appreciate it. So next time you download a show, take a second to leave your thoughts and rate it.
Are you a healthcare provider? Do you know that Dr. Anderson has an online healthcare education website? ConsultDra.com is the continuing education, mentoring, and one-stop shop to find out where Dr. Anderson is speaking, what new online courses are available, and many other services. For subscribers, ConsultDrAnderson.com has a searchable Q&A library, recorded webinars on integrative medicine topics, and many more. Healthcare providers, check out the website at www.consultdranderson.com. That's www.consultdranderson.com.
The views expressed on contacttalkradio.com are those of the guest hosts and callers, and not necessarily of this station, its management, or other advertisers.
This is contacttalkradio.com. Consciousness in action. And you are taking action into your consciousness by tuning into Contact Talk Radio.
And on TuneIn.com, Hing.fm, and UpSnap Mobile.
Contact Talk Radio. Welcome to Life Mastery with Todd Allen, the talk radio show that dives into the science of higher consciousness. Join Todd and his guests weekly at 10 a.m. Pacific Time and learn how to live a peaceful life with intentional mastery. Enjoy a survey of inspiring topics such as abundance, intention, health, manifestation, love, and transformation. It's all right here. Leading authors, speakers, coaches, entrepreneurs with stories and messages to support your well-being, let alone your most evocative dreams.
Hey, it's another groovy day, and that's because when I got up this morning, I made it that way. Doesn't mean things aren't going to come my way that I didn't expect, but as long as I start my day thinking it's groovy, everything's just going to be groovy, and everything's going to happen like it's supposed to. As always, before we get started with the show, I like to get myself centered and situated and just really prepare for what's about to be presented and what we're going to talk about. And if we just get quiet for a second and really just take a minute and consciously connect to that which you get power from, or whatever it is that you believe in, whatever it is out there in the universe that you rely on for thoughts and ideas, whatever that is. Just get quiet. It might even be the doorknob that opens you up to the door that leads you to your sleep time every night. That might even be cool, whatever it is. And let's just focus on that. Maybe take in a deep breath. I like to let that breath out with just a and let that essence flow up from the solar plexus and up through the heart center, out of the speaker box, and let those dreams, visions, and goals just go out there to the universe, whatever it is that you believe in, and make sure that you consciously think about allowing it to show you the opportunities to make those dreams come true. I just dig that. I really like it before the show. And as always, you can see my co-host is here along with our guest. I'll introduce our guest here in just a minute, but Jackie's here, and Jackie Bailey from Jackie Bailey Speaks. And if you can look in the background and see, she's in her brand new office.
Woo-hoo! I'm missing my banner, though. I have this little banner I made that would specifically go behind me while I'm broadcasting or podcasting. And I just haven't quite got it figured out how to display it yet. So I'm missing that, but it'll be cool when I get it up.
Hey, we're gonna watch it step by step evolve into this really, really groovy place. She has a really cool studio where she teaches students the art of public speaking, but more than that, I think it's really for them to understand that voice they have inside of them.
Oh, absolutely. You know, youth are powerful, but they don't recognize it yet because their belief system is based on the belief system of their parents, their teachers, their advisors, and all the people that they associate themselves with. Unfortunately, sometimes it's with their friends as well, but they don't really look inside themselves to figure out, what is it that I really believe? What is it that I know to be true? And in my course curriculum, I give them opportunity to really consider that. What is it that they believe in, and how do they know that's true for them? What experiences do they have or have had that lead them to believe the things that they do? And once they know their story and they can feel that they have something important to say, it just makes such a difference in their empowerment levels and their confidence and in their maturity.
Right. And you, the platform in which you do that is you allow them to write speeches. Am I following along? And then deliver those speeches and understand that they have a voice and they can speak it. Did I get it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Of course, you got to write your own speeches because they're your own message, right? Now, there are times in the curriculum where I ask them to take some of the greatest speeches or orator speeches in history and redo those in their own way. And that helps them to develop a lot of this rhythm. They learn new words. They research understanding and emotions that go into some of these wonderful speeches. And so that comes a little bit later in the curriculum, but the most important part that we've been working on lately is simply conversation. How do you look somebody in the eye? How do you have a conversation with them? How do you make it about that person instead of always about you? And that's actually a huge challenge for our youth because they're on these devices all the time and they don't really look people in the eye. They don't have those face-to-face conversations as much anymore, unless it's with their parents, and then those usually aren't happy ones. I shouldn't say that, but discipline is not the same thing as a conversation.
Right. And listening skills, listening without formulating the response that they're going to, or what's important to them.
Absolutely.
And
yeah. So I teach
it's
them
really
to
cool.
listen for keywords that the other person is saying and base their questions on those keywords. It could be vanilla ice cream. And now they've got something, hey, so why do you like vanilla ice cream? Or have you always liked vanilla ice cream? Or something like that. They're listening for those keywords that the other person is saying and then basing their question back on that, not on something that they want to say.
Right. To provide that connection. That is so cool. The more and more I hear about what you're doing, it's just like, wow, that is so cool.
It's really fun. I
I
really
bet.
enjoy it. And actually, to our audience out there, I'm looking to give some classes around the globe in a personal level. So I'd like to go to Australia, New Zealand, somewhere in the Caribbean, South America, Africa. I would like to go to those places and teach a class for a week or two to the youth that are in those countries. So anybody out there listening, have some access to some areas where you'd like to have a public speaking teacher come. I'm there.
And you can find out more information at www.JackieBaileySpeaks.com.
Yep.
I think if you go to Life Mastery Radio's Facebook page or my Facebook page or search Facebook for Jackie Bailey, you will find her stuff and you'll be able to connect with her.
Yep.
Yeah. It's very cool.
Oh, it's all about connection.
It's right. It's all about and vibration, right? We got to learn how to vibrate.
And energy, right? It's about energy.
We can't forget grooviness, though.
That's probably the most important.
I want to remind the listeners that today's show page is at www.lifemasteryradio.net or .com, either one, whichever one comes across from your fingers. Everything that we talk about today, there's links for our guests, and you can explore it more. You can check out our past shows coming up. And while you're there, just sign up for the newsletter. That's all we use that email address for. Jackie does an awesome job creating a really cool newsletter. It goes out once a week, and it talks about our upcoming guests, past guests, and she always likes to create a blog post after the show about the show to entice you a little bit more to go to the YouTube channel or something and actually watch it or check it out.
So I will post a comment on our blog about our interview today with our guests, whom you, I'm sure, are about to introduce, and learn a little bit more about my perspective of the interview.
It's really cool. She does a great job. And you are so true. I think we're done with housekeeping and talking. And I think, look, she's sitting there just so patiently with this big smile on her face. She's wonderful. Our guest
She's like,
today,
come on, guys, get over it and get me back on here.
Our guest today is Stefani Arend, and she is a nutritional coach. She works in a holistic way and thus integrates a variety of approaches into her consultations, depending on precisely what that individual needs. She gave up her yoga studio in 2015 due to a move and has since been focusing even more on international yin yoga teacher trainings. She recently published a book. It's titled Be Healthy with Yin Yoga, the gentle way to free your body of everyday ailments and emotional stresses. And Stefani, welcome to Life Mastery Radio. How are you today, my friend?
Thank you so much, Todd. Thank you for having me. I'm fantastic.
That's really cool. And this is the coolness of today's day and age. So Jackie and I are pretty much in the Seattle area, and Stefani is all the way over in Europe and pretty close to Corona. Is that right, Stefani?
Exactly.
And here we are all connected together and having a discussion, and it's really cool.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag. I took German. Let's see. That's funny. I took German in high school, so I can count to 10. 1, 2, 3, and you probably know the rest. And I remember was ist das Uhr, which is what time is it, or what is the time? And I remember Tannenbaum. That's you know what a Tannenbaum is, Jackie?
Christmas tree. Yeah.
It is a Christmas tree.
Was ist los?
And that's about all. How am I doing, Stefani? Am I doing pretty good? I could probably come over and.
Oh, you're doing wonderful. I can fully understand what you're saying.
And I think my German name here. This is a good one. I remember my German name in German class, and it was Ludwig.
Interesting.
I was Ludwig. I thought that was cool.
I'll start calling you that.
No. Stefani, did you always have a book in you? I know you've written. How many books have you written?
Uh-oh. She's a little frozen.
Uh-oh. It's frozen with a big smile. Let's see if he comes back.
Hello.
One of the things we have with technology is that we might experience some of these issues.
Yes, we may have problems.
Did you take German, Jackie?
Well, I did, but don't test me on it. I took, and actually my German teacher was Frau Bailey. Oh, as funny as that is.
Oh, I don't remember what her name was. She's still frozen.
Oh, might have to bring her back.
Well, maybe okay, how about this, Jackie? Can you take us on a tour? Let's see the classroom.
Oh my goodness. Okay, let me see if I can unplug and take us around here. So
We're on, I don't know if our engineer can reconnect or if we can disconnect her and reconnect.
So I will start in my actual studio, which is my classroom. So from the front door, you walk in and here's all my desks.
There's the classroom.
There's the classroom. My Speak Feed Lead emblems there on the wall. And
that's the name of this schoolhouse.
Yeah,
it's a rockin' schoolhouse.
Trophies and my books are for sale here. I've got this chalkboard wall that the kids can write on. And this week we've been talking about proverbs and the wisdom that we can find in those ancient messages. And the kids crafted their own proverbs. So let me read you some that the kids crafted. We've got, he who is a teacher and loves donuts helps children eat donuts. That's one of the proverbs they came up with. Here is, unhappy is the chicken who can't cross the road. Happy is the man who finds another way. So it's kind of funny that they come up with these. I have a friend who's an artist who designed this wonderful mirror for me. And so it's backwards for you guys.
Oh, wow, that's really cool.
It's a mirror. So when you look into the mirror, you can do that affirmation as you read what this says. Speak with power, feed others in word and deed, and lead with a positive influence. And you're looking at yourself as you're saying it. So that's pretty cool. And she also designed for me this other piece of artwork, which tells you the rules of my class, which is to listen to understand, invest in others, kindness is key, and engage in conversation. So those are the rules of my class, which are an acronym for LIKE. And let's see. Still trying to get Stefanie back here, so I'll keep going. I have a tiny little kitchen here. I've got my coffee cart station and a refrigerator that Todd helped me haul over here.
It fit right in the.
It fit like a glove. Yeah. And then I have a small conference room area that can be used for interviews or, holding small classes, something like that. I have this little board here that is from famous Frank Burns. It says, courage is not something you should be afraid to have. Remember Frank Burns from MASH? That was one of his quotes. Thought that was funny, so we put that up.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Courage is not something you should be afraid to have.
Now the kids, I can hear it now. Who's Frank Burns?
That's right. Who's Frank Burns? But one of the boys in my class looked at that the other night and he said, that is so true. You really can't be afraid to have courage. I think he kind of missed the humor in it, but.
Yeah,
anyway.
And a big part of that is fear. And I think it takes the way I understood it was I think it takes courage to put fear in your pocket and take that next step.
Yeah, definitely.
That was a good way that I understood it.
Well, yeah, and the only way to have courage then is to just step into the fear and do it anyway, right? Because courage I don't think is having a lack of fortitude. It's going forward, feeling the fear and doing it anyway. That's what courage is.
Right.
It's not having no fear. It's feeling the fear and going forward. So Oh, we could ask Stefanie how to say that in German if if we could get her back.
I messaged her on
Oh.
Facebook and she hasn't responded. So I'm almost wondering if there isn't like an internet outage or something else because no communication. So another big part of that, something that you and I learned about this weekend, and that's resistance. And I was really intrigued about recognizing that fear and where that shows up in our body and being aware of that. And I thought that that was so powerful. And then asking yourself, okay, what's this about? Right? So if we look back at our history and everything that we've done, when those things happen, it's just anxiety and we relish in the fear and it's just like, what am I going to do?
Right.
But recognizing where that's showing up, how that's feeling and feeling it and then that's just a huge awareness. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, fear was interesting as far as a revelation for me as well over the weekend. And I find it interesting that the fear that we feel now was founded, or the foundation of that fear happened when we were kids. From birth to age 7, that's when we download all those things that we're learning, and sensations or bodily physical reactions are part of that. And that's where our body learns to react in different situations and with different emotions because of what those first experiences were.
Right. Pre-programming.
Yeah. So when we have this fear that comes upon us, it might be rational or it might not be. It might just be a reaction or a pattern that we learned early on that we now know better about and need to overcome in some way, right? Consciously overcome it. So I did find that interesting as well.
And being able to reprogram that too, but working toward changing that feeling in the body and why we're feeling it.
So what Todd and I attended is the Science of Influence with Ani Anderson and Brian Traskos. They are a wonderful husband-wife team who brought their wonderful talents and experiences together to form these workshops for people to help them truly understand the sensations that they have and why. So they call it a sensation-based mindset. So they encourage us to forget about labeling emotion and actually feel sensation and understand why we're feeling that sensation, what's going on in our head, that's causing our body to feel these particular sensations, and then learn how to figure out how to have a new sensation so that you can have a new reaction to those same events and situations that we find ourselves in, and actually change the way we feel about something. And open up that energy to the universe that will allow us to have, greater insight, right?
So I'm really curious, did you have a huge takeaway from that? Was there, I got the sense that you were just like hungry for more. And I think you made the comment, okay, well now I'm leaving and now what do I do?
Yeah, well, that's what since it finished on Saturday, I've been feeling a little bit, not lost entirely, but something's missing. I wanted to hear more, and Ani and Brian, they exude such energy and kindness and graciousness that I want to feel more of that.
Right.
So my takeaway was just that, hey, I'm going to feel resistance, and I already have since then, and I just need to figure out how to have a different sensation so that I don't make decisions based on past experiences which are no longer true for right now.
Right. No, that was really cool. So so part of this, Ani, we had Ani on, I don't know, back in March or something with a book called Finding Your Soul's Agenda. And I was really shocked too, because you showed up you'd already figured it out. And it wasn't, and then you started to speak it. So has that changed or evolved at all?
You mean my soul's agenda?
Right.
No, I think it rang true for me. It's interesting that my soul's agenda ended up being empowerment, and I don't have my entire discovery with me, but and it was the first word that I put down as their exercise asked you to start thinking about memories from childhood and experiences that you had and how you felt during those experiences. And as my mind went back to some of those memories I had, empowered was one of those words that came up. It was the first word that came up. And that ended up being the word that I kept as my soul's agenda. So I found that to be a little bit interesting. And it came up a lot of times in my memories that there was this feeling of
Empowerment.
not being empowered.
Right. What is that opposite? Did you already say it? What is the opposite of empowerment?
For me, it's being denied something, or in some cases it could be self-denial. Not that I deny things, but that I am denied opportunities when I don't see or don't recognize the power that I have to overcome these challenges and obstacles that I'm denied. I'm denied opportunities if I let my fear, my worry, my stress take control, then I miss out on opportunities, and that's sort of a self-denial rather than a self-empowerment. Yeah, it was pretty cool to discover things like that about yourself.
I know. And
it all makes sense, you know?
Yeah.
I can look back in my life and go, oh my gosh, that's why this happened. That's why I felt this. That's why this, and that's why I keep having the same problems and the lessons I have to learn over and over and over again because I keep repeating the same pattern. Yep.
Yeah, I got the sense that it was kind of a breakthrough experience, and I thought that was just really cool. And I think it was for Paulette and Debbie too. More for me, a lot of that information was repetition, and I really got the sense that I was just kind of taking the knives out of the drawer and sharpening them up.
Yeah.
For my next journey, but I could really feel, the breakthroughs that, and it wasn't that there was a breakthrough there. It was just, here are some great thoughts and ideas for you to ponder and see if. Hi, I am back.
So it looks like, yeah, Stefanie says she's back in. She can hear us, but she can't connect with us. So.
Oh. Hey, Cameron, can you hear us? Cameron
is our engineer.
He just needs to let her in. Hold on, Stefanie. We will get you back.
Technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Let's see if I can do it. No. Let's see. We want a really big show, and Stefanie's back. Hold on, Steph. I think Cameron is probably recording something else. Let's see if I can get him. Sing a song, Jackie, or dance or something.
Yeah, I don't think you want me to sing a song, that's for sure. You can sing your Feeling Groovy song.
Feeling groovy. I can't do that in text at the same time.
Okay. Well, this past weekend in the Seattle area, on Saturday and Sunday, we celebrated what's called Salmon Days. It's in a town called Issaquah, which is east of Seattle. This is where we celebrate the migration and the spawning of our beloved salmon that weigh so heavily on our ecosystem and food chain and so forth. And it was a really fun event. A lot of great music and local artists selling their wares, food and natural markets, as well as painters, sculptors, and people walking around with big hats that were salmon fishes on their heads. And it was a great weekend, and lots of salmon were spawning right there in the rivers that run through the town. So you could see these tremendously huge salmon finishing their life cycle, and even some spirit to just knock the other guys out of the way and say, hey, this is my territory, this is where I'm spawning, get out of here. You can still see some fights going on amongst those fish after all they've been through. You could see some of them trying to jump up these ladders that were installed and created for them to be able to get back up into the same stream where they actually spawned from, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago. I'm not sure how long the life cycle is. And it was sad to see that some of them didn't make it. I mean, they probably went around something and got up there somehow, but some of the ladders were just, they were trying and didn't quite make it. But it's funny how many people in the crowd the fish would start to go up and they'd go, go, yeah! And then when he didn't make it, oh, darn.
Right.
It was like cheering for an athletic team, but we were cheering for the fish to get up the ladder so they could complete their life cycle. Kind of funny to have that bond with complete strangers over an animal like that.
This will be fun. So here, I'm going to call our engineer.
And say, hey, wake up.
Hang on, Stephanie. We're trying everything we can. This is a lot of fun.
And you've got his voicemail.
Hey, our guest dropped, and she's trying to. Okay, I'm just making sure, dude. Okay.
Isn't technology fun?
He's having issues on his end.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's what happened.
Well, you and I are still on, and we're still on Facebook Live, so
yeah,
he's still broadcasting a stream.
So, yep. So I was talking about a different kind of stream of salmon days, and here we are streaming in a different way right here.
So that's really cool. And let's see, Arnie put on a really big show. What else happened on Friday and Saturday? I thought it was a lot of interesting information, especially about movement. And if we can get Stefanie back on here, we'll find out that a lot of, I discovered this morning in researching for Stefanie today that a lot of what they were talking about was yin yoga stuff.
Yeah.
Or the principles and the ideas.
And I want to know how Qigong is different than yin yoga. Because I think it's both based on fascial work, right? And wonder if it's similar or maybe it's the same thing and it's just called by a different name.
Right.
Who knows? Only Stefanie can tell us.
She says she's still there somewhere, lost in
listen.
space.
No.
So what's next?
It's like we're worlds apart or something. It's like she's in a whole different country or something.
She's there somewhere. So tell us, let's see. So one of your breakthrough things, or one of your is, you're really in the groove with teaching kids about public speaking and how to speak their voice. And then you just said, and I really see myself going to the Caribbean, and I'm holding classes in the Caribbean that helps me afford or gives me the access to be there.
Right. Well, the impetus for this has been a television show that sometimes on Saturday I will sit down to relax for a few minutes and I'll tune into the show. It's called Island Life. And it's a show, it's a reality show where people from all over the world are looking to buy a home on an island. And so they'll find a real estate agent in this area where they're looking, and they'll go and look at these homes on these islands where they're either going to retire or they'll have just for a vacation home or something like that. And a lot of times they're in the Caribbean. It's an island in the Caribbean. And so I'm watching these individuals try to find these homes that will satisfy their needs. It'll be big enough. They'll be close to the water. Da, 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 da. I just kind of feel like that's what I want. I want to find a house somewhere in the Caribbean that's big enough that my children and their children can come. I don't want to live there full time, but I want to have a place that's a hub for everybody. When I was growing up, my grandmother or my husband's grandmother, where was the place on Sunday where everybody just gathered, and it didn't matter, you know, what your schedules were. You made time to get to grandma's house on Sunday and have dinner and see whatever family members showed up. And it was just a great way to connect. And I think our society has lost that connective tissue, so to speak, of communication with each other. So I feel this great need of having somewhere where there's sun, where there's beach and sky, that a family could come together on occasion, and it would be my place. And so I feel really grounded when I'm standing on a beach. I don't even know why, but that's when I feel like I'm my true self, standing on a beach in the sun.
When you said that, there's a couple thoughts. I've been to the Grand Cayman Islands and the cruise ship parked, and I spent the entire beach with a snorkel and a mask on the beach. And the beach, oh my gosh, the water was so
white,
beautiful.
powdery sand. I know.
No. It was really coarse. Oh no, it was huge. It was probably like 5 times the size of a grain of sand around here, and just really kind of coarse and very warm. So when you said that, you said something to the effect of just sitting on a beach, soaking up that warmth. So then I instantly went, oh, well, she's reflecting on her jealousy with her tortoise, because I don't know why I thought that. I was just like, where's
maybe so. Although she lives she would naturally live in the jungle.
Right.
So it's not really.
But I had this
whole tropical
heat lamp thing going on. And
maybe so.
Basting in the sun.
Yeah. Well, so I started thinking, okay, if I could just go there on vacation for the time being, but what if I made a business trip out of it and actually went and taught classes?
Right.
Then it would feel like, hey, I got two birds with one stone kind of thing. So that's what I'm hoping could happen. But then I was talking to a friend yesterday she says, I have some connections in Australia and New Zealand, so let's try to do that too. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm thinking, hey,
start working on that global community. If you're out there listening to Jackie and I do improv today.
Which is what we do well, actually.
And you know of a group of kids that are very talented, and all kids are very talented. All kids have a great spirit, but you want to open them up a little bit more to what's going on inside of them. Get that group together, call Jackie, invite her to come. I'm sure you can work something out. And
on the side of a bus today, I saw an advertisement for TEDx Seattle for youth.
For youth?
And, and so I'm going to check that out, because I'm thinking that would be really awesome to get some of my students on the TEDx stage. And that might be happening on a global level too. So that would be really cool. So any youth out there who just want to be able to be better communicators, who want to empower their ability to really speak to people, and maybe they have a message that they want to share of importance and they dream of getting on the TEDx stage, I can help you with that. So it'd be fun to do a class, a group setting, or I already do individual coaching, so that's just online. But
you know what comes to mind. You and I belong to a group, the Toastmasters organization, and I guess over the weekend, while you and I were in a really groovy seminar, Ignite Seattle was going on.
Yeah, we missed it.
We missed it. And I guess there was a huge number of like 50 or 60 Toastmasters there from District 2. That's the district that I belong to. And they were all, I've heard from a couple people now. I've had some discussions with them, how cool it was and all of this. But then when you said that, I'm like, well, why not ignite Seattle for the youth? Oh, here she comes. We might get some time with Stefanie. She's muted. Da, 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 da.
She's back.
That was fun.
Oh, good. I'm so sorry this happened.
Oh man.
I think it was just in the universe because the engineer was having some difficulties too, and you're back. But here's what I think is we're going to definitely invite you back, Stefanie, because I don't know that we can talk about everything, but I'm really intrigued about yin yoga and how this, so let's just get right into it, how this helps that fascia system.
Tell us the difference between yin yoga and just standard yoga.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, I would say you can say there is yang and yin yoga. And yang is the active form of yoga where you use your muscles. And in yin, we focus on fascia. That means we come into a pose and we stay for 3 to 5 minutes in a passive way. And in that way, we can focus on the fascia, and the fascia gets stretched out if the muscles are relaxed. That's like, okay, now I'm taking over. And in this way, the fascia can get hydrated again, it gets stretched out, and we have a lot of nerve endings in our fascia. And that's why so many people have pain in their fascia, especially in the back area, because fascia can get really stiff there. And that's a wonderful tool. If you stretch your body for several minutes in a passive way, then you can, it's kind of like getting rid of the knots which are in the fascia.
So just let me see if I have it right. The fascia is the connective tissue, and it's probably the most prevalent type of tissue in our body, and so it's pretty much everywhere, and it's the main connector. Did I get it right?
Yes, exactly. It's throughout our whole body, and about 20% of our body is made up of fascia, and it's the soft connective tissue.
And so just so for the benefit of our listeners, when the fascia gets constrained and stressed and crunched up and things don't flow through it right, like energy and, like you said, hydration, water, and it creates tension in the muscles, or it helps facilitate the tension in the muscles, and it basically it's like a big dam in our body.
Yeah, you could kind of say it like that. It's combined. The fascia and the muscle is combined.
Okay.
The fascia stiffens, and then you can also feel it in your muscles. You cannot completely separate the two.
Okay. And so then yin yoga helps us to, like you said, open up those floodgates, and it's, I found it really interesting when we were playing around with it. We weren't playing around with it, we were being taught it, that it's not a stretch that pushes yourself, but it's a stretch that you just come up to the edge of that push.
You do not really come to the edge. You only go about 70% of what you can do, and then you let your body work over time. When you stay 3 to 5 minutes in the pose and just relax into it, you will get deeper and deeper, and the fascia will open up more and more. And it's important that you stay relaxed and that nobody will push you into it, because then you can also tear your fascia, and that's pretty painful.
Yeah. So is there some way, I know we're on the radio and it's hard to really see full body and stand up and stuff, but is there some small stretch you can show us that would stretch the fascia, and so that we can see the difference between, like, stretching out your fingers versus stretching out, differently for fascia related issues? Is there something we could do?
Stretching out the fingers would be an active movement, because you have to use your muscles here. But what you could do right now is just to let your head sink and just relax into the forward bend. Let the shoulder blades pull apart and just relax. Don't do anything at all. Don't try to hold, just let yourself sink a little bit deeper. And maybe by now you can already feel a little bit of that stretch.
Yeah.
You can get even rounder when you come forward a little bit more. When you're sitting on a chair, you can go all the way down if you want, if you have that flexibility, and try to round your spine.
Okay.
And the more you round the spine, the more you focus on the fascia.
Wow. So it's very simple then. It's not something that you have to learn how to do. It's something we already do. We just don't do it all the time or as frequently as we should.
It is super simple, yes.
Yeah. But what are the benefits are the benefits you get really simple, or can you get really amazing benefits from something so simple?
I think that you can get amazing benefits. I have worked with so many people who had severe pain and ailments, and it was just incredible what Yin Yoga could do for them.
Wow. So tell us.
Know that their pain comes from the fascia. Even doctors oftentimes don't know that because it's such a new topic.
Yeah. Now, why is it so new? Why isn't it something that certainly doctors have known fascia's there. So why is this technique so revolutionary or new? Is it just doctors just haven't paid attention to it before?
Nobody really paid attention to it before because they thought it's just a packing material for the muscle. They thought it's like it's not of any use, and then they examined it closer, and then they said, "Wow, this is living tissue, and there's so much going on there. It's really amazing what science finds out now."
Wow, cool.
So, what are some of the and I know that you're not a doctor or any of that, but what are some of the minor ailments, right, that Yin Yoga helps us overcome? Obviously, I would think stress, muscle tension, and you described pain. So, okay, we'll use me as a guinea pig. I'm going to be the guinea pig. And this is interesting because doing some of the exercises this weekend, my shoulder feels a lot better. But my shoulder, I've been diagnosed with bursitis, and there's exercises that I'm supposed to do and everything, and ice and diet. But I did notice this weekend, Jackie, after doing some of those exercises, that my shoulder, I've got a lot more movement.
Of course you do.
And is that something that I would benefit from with Yin Yoga, Stefanie?
Yes, definitely. We even know by now that fascia has more to do with the flexibility in our body than the muscles.
And the joints.
Yes, also.
Wow.
You can basically focus on anything. That's what I did in my book. I worked together with a doctor for traditional Chinese medicine, and we discussed several ailments, and then we looked what meridians are important to stress for these ailments. And then I put together the poses which focus on these exact meridians.
So now if I were to start exercising and trying to lift weights, I would have muscle soreness, right? Do you get fascia soreness when you start to work a little bit more with a focus on your fascia?
Yes, you can, but it does feel different.
Okay. So how does it feel different?
It feels a little bit more deeper, I would say. It's probably not as strong, but scientists now say that soreness also comes from the fascia because the little tears we produce when we do too much, they're not really in the muscles, but more in the fascia, actually.
So if you just take like a general muscle, say in my arm, is the fascia on the underside of the muscle, or is it on the upper side of the muscle? Where would I find that fascia?
It's everywhere. It
is everywhere. So, okay.
It's all around and all in between the fibers.
Okay. All right.
So what are some of the other benefits? I remember, so this for people with insomnia, this could be a huge benefit to helping them sleep better. Is that right?
Oh yes, because the energy of the night is the yin energy, and the energy of the day is the yang energy. And if you practice yin yoga before you go to sleep, then it's like a smooth diving into the yin energy, and that can be a wonderful help to sleep better, to sleep through the night, and yeah, especially for insomnia.
Okay.
It's calming for the whole nervous system.
So I need a prescription. I'm in my 50s, and I really like exercise. I like isometric type exercise. And I know first to get your book, as a matter of fact, I have your book. Is this something that I should jump into, ease into, get started slowly? I know your book is wonderful. Your book lays out the history and the benefits, and then you have are all those just yin yoga poses?
There are also a few yang poses in there, but that's not the main focus.
The main focus is yin.
Yes, definitely.
And is this something that I should ease into, or is it something that I can just start doing? You talked about holding poses for 3 and 5 minutes, but I can't imagine just starting out that I would do that.
You can just shorten it if that's too much. We use a lot of props. If something is too intense for you, you can use a bolster and yoga blocks and pillows to make the pose more gentle for you, so you can hold it longer. Or if you don't want to do that, you can also start out with 1 minute. That will also do something for you.
How do you know if you're doing too much to start with?
You will feel it when you release the pose.
Oh, okay. All right.
The chi flows through your body, and for a minute or a minute and a half, you feel super fragile. And then you come back to normal. But if that lasts longer, then you know that you did too much.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Now, do you do yin yoga with yang yoga? I mean, can they be done together? Is that helpful, or are you a proponent of just the yin style?
No, you can absolutely combine it. That's also what I did in my yoga classes. At first, I only taught yang classes, but I got so exhausted just teaching yang, and my body needed something else. And then I started to combine yang and yin yoga in one class, and that felt wonderful. But now I just focus on yin because that's really my heart yoga.
Yeah. Cool.
So what is my time dedication? So I'm just starting out, wanting to get in the groove, and I have 2 questions, but I'll ask this one first. So when and how long should I start with?
Whatever you can. If you only have 10 minutes, then do 10 minutes. If you have 1 hour and a half, then do 1 hour and a half. Whatever fits into your daily schedule.
And I would have to, so my second question, I have lots of questions. I'm just a curious kind of guy. What do I do with my mind while I'm holding a pose?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
I mean, is it a meditative state? I guess is if we were to drill down, is it a meditative state, or should I allow my mind to ponder things, or is it just like a focus to be relaxed?
Or can we listen to rock and roll while we're doing
it? You can't do any of that. The purpose is really to combine with your inner yoga teacher and with your soul, and to see what comes up when you are in a pose, what emotions come up, what do you feel, and then dive into that. That makes it really meditative and very deep practice.
And so is this at the point when then you're listening to your body, and your body is kind of directing you to, obviously we can feel soreness, but I think part of your teaching is really getting inside and listening deeply to what our body is trying to tell us? Is that when that phase occurs, or you get in tune with it, or do you just know?
First of all, there will probably be all that mental chatter coming up.
Right.
And then you try to calm that down to not have just these superficial thoughts, which we oftentimes have on our mind, but to go deeper, to see, okay, what's the next layer? You can combine the practice wonderfully with your breath to calm you down, and then see, okay, what comes up now? And be patient with yourself.
Right.
It doesn't happen all the time. Sometimes you just have the monkey mind, and that's also fine.
The monkey mind? I think I need to know what that means.
It's kind of like taking a Super Ball and throwing it into a closet as hard as you can and closing the door. That's
All right.
That's a good comparison.
that's your mind, right? It's just
It's like,
the monkey. It's just just going like it does.
okay.
That's very cool, Stephanie. I'm really sorry about what happened today, but you know what? Everything happens for a reason, and we're definitely going to reschedule you to come back. We only have about 3 minutes left. And is there anything that we forgot? We kind of tried to get it on a fast track, but is there anything else that comes to your mind that we want to mention or entice our listeners, I know for sure, to go find your book?
Yes, I just give it a try. I have a YouTube channel. If you just want to check that out and try some of the poses to see if it's a fit for you. If you don't want to go buy the book right away, then just try some of the videos. I have a whole bunch of meditations and breathing techniques on there, and just see if Yin Yoga works for you. But I warn you, it is addictive.
Did she just say?
Uh-oh. You're speaking from experience.
I need one more thing in my life.
That's right. So how many times a day do you use your Yin Yoga, Stefanie?
I usually practice it at night.
Okay.
Before I go to bed. It's like my energy cleansing routine, like brushing my teeth, but on the energetical level.
And so can you tell a big difference when, for some reason, you don't get to do it before you go to bed? Can you tell a difference?
Yes, I would be able to tell a difference, but I don't forget to do it.
Because you're addicted.
If I don't have the time, I do it in bed.
Yeah. So that's even possible then, right? So
yes.
You can't use the excuse, I'm too tired. You can actually get in bed and do some poses even while you're...
Exactly. And then you fall asleep in the pose.
Right.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Now
I would imagine, because it's not a high impact thing, right? This really fits. You know what I get the sense? I get the sense that this is a really groovy way to get some exercise. And yeah, okay, Jackie, we're going to do this. We're going to put this, we're going to incorporate this into our lives. I don't know if you're open to it, but I think I'm due.
No, absolutely. I'm up for anything to get some more fitful sleep.
Stefanie, I want to thank you for being patient with us today. This has been fun. This has been a first. I definitely want to have you back on the show because I think there's a lot more. It seems to me like we got on this huge fast track. To our listeners, go check out today's show page at www.lifemasteryradio.net. We have a link to Stefanie's website. Her book is on Amazon. You can go there and find it. It is called Be Healthy with Yin Yoga. I'm going to try it. You're going to try it. Jackie's going to try it. We're all going to try it. Ice cream for Yin Yoga. Lastly, I would really like for you to make it a great day because it is all about choice. And choose to get a little yin in your life. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye,
Stephanie.
Thank you for tuning in to Life